Ocean Marina Yacht Club plays home to Asia's largest regatta each year, the top of the Gulf Regatta. Regularly attracting over 200 boats and with crews from all corners of the world, the top of the Gulf has established itself as the leading multi-class regatta in the region, and in its 9th year showcased a diverse fleet and some exciting racing. The top of the Gulf Regatta differs from many sailing events in Asia in its inclusiveness. From the very beginning, the event organisers opened the door to a wide range of sailing craft, and today the regatta welcomes 11 different classes, from Optimists to dinghies, beach catamarans to one-design plateaus, keelboats, multihulls and windsurfs.
We have so many different classes. We've got children at 7 or 8 years old competing, up to 75-year-olds competing. And they all intermingle around the marina. When people are preparing to go out sailing or when they're coming back in the evenings, it's so wonderful to see the kids, you know, the teenagers all interreacting together with the, if you like, the older established racers, because these young people are the future of racing. This has been a great training ground for some of the Thai national sailors. We've ended up with one world champion in Optimists the last couple of years. She's now sailing in another class. There's people here that are sponsoring another one of our young sailors to compete in Brazil next Olympics. So we're hopeful that we'll see more of our younger sailors go off and do wonderful things.
The diversity of craft is matched by the diversity of sailors, with juniors as young as 7 taking part in the Thailand Optimist National Championship, through to 70-year-olds racing in the keelboat and multi-hull classes. National, Asian and world champions, together with past Olympians, happily line up against a core of amateur sailors for 4 days of great sailing in the Gulf of Thailand. Once registration and the formalities were dispensed with, sailors enjoyed the opening party. A chance to relax, meet the crews, the competition and returning friends. Over 500 sailors took part this year, and the unique setting on the lawn at Ocean Marina Yacht Club made for a welcoming start at this ever-popular regatta. The 11 classes were split into 4 course areas, each with independent race management. Course 1 was for the Thailand Optimist National Championships, and Course 2 for the beach catamarans and Olympic dinghy classes. These fleets raced over 3 days. The keelboat and multi-hull classes were scheduled for 4 days of racing on Course 3, directly off the marina, while on Course 4, the RS1 windsurfs raced over 2 days. A 5-strong fleet lined up in IRC Racing 1, with local favourite Kevin Whitcraft's Wan Marang hoping to upset 2 hotshots from Singapore, Foxy Lady 6 and Cuckoo Kerchu. Also looking to be in the mix were El Coyote, sailed by regatta regular Gary Bagley, and Siren. Foxy Lady 6 were quick off the mark, scoring 2 firsts in the opening day, while Cuckoo Kerchu were struggling with 2 thirds. However, they found some rhythm on day 2 to win the first race and reorder the pack. The boats enjoyed some close racing in the good breeze, and by midway point it was Bill Bremner's crew on Foxy Lady 6 who were leading. Wan Marang, however, were quietly going about their business, putting together a string of second places and keeping the Singaporeans in their sights. While the 40-footers were battling over the top 3 spots, El Coyote and Siren were enjoying their own battle. Trading places early in the series, El Coyote moved up a gear in the final 2 days to stretch out a lead, which they held through to the end of the series, to take 4th place overall, ahead of Siren in 5th. At the top, Chu was sailed well and traded places with Juan Marang on the penultimate day. But going into the final day, and with just a single race planned, it was Foxy Lady 6 who had a 4-point lead. Juan Marang placed first in the final race to secure second overall and split the two Singapore boats. However, it was Bill Bremner's crew on Foxy Lady 6, scoring 4 wins from 7 races, that sailed away with the title, with Chu having to settle for third. In the multi-hull division this year, it was 2 local boats, a 42-foot Crowther called Sonic and the Corsair Trimaran Black Swan, defending their turf to an outsider, another Corsair Trimaran called Miss Saigon, who had sailed around and up from Phuket to compete. The form records were on the side of Miss Saigon, who scored a podium at the 2013 Royal Langkawi International Regatta previously. However, the 2 local boats were hoping their local knowledge would prove to be an advantage. And this proved to be the case. Miss Saigon enjoyed the mid to light winds early on and scored 3 wins from 4 races. However, as the winds picked up, it was Black Swan and Sonic who started to perform, reading the winds, currents and shifts better. A late surge by Sonic saw them claim 2 wins on the penultimate day and reduce Miss Saigon's lead. However, it was too little too late for Karate Asakul and his all-Thai crew, as Miss Saigon won the final day's race and claimed the overall class victory. Returning for the second year was the Neil Pride Racing Series. Organised by the Windsurfing Association of Thailand, 29 sailors from India, Myanmar and Thailand raced over 2 days off the beach on the One Design RS1 windsurfs. Winds ranged from 6 to 8 knots, gusting to 12, which allowed for 5 races to be completed in total. And at the end of day 1, Thai sailors led all 4 of the divisions. Many of the Thai entries this year were youth sailors, reflecting the success of the Windsurfing Association of Thailand Youth Development Program. Among the competitors was 19-year-old Sirapon Kauduangnam, who was one of the first in the Youth Development Program and won gold at the 2010 Youth Olympics in Singapore. The second and final day of racing for the RS1 sailors provided a different set of challenges. The first race was a roller coaster starting in 11 knots with gusts from a passing storm reaching 20 knots, only to die off and the race being finished back in 10 knots. This was followed by fickle winds for the rest of the day, which saw a second race completed, but the scheduled third race had to be abandoned. 2 days of mixed racing played into the hands of the local Thai sailors, taking the 2 top podium places in all divisions. Top of the Gulf Regatta's strength lies in its diversity. Sailing on Course 2 are the Olympic dinghy and beach catamaran classes, 4 classes in total with 33 boats vying for their respective titles. The Olympic classes at the top of the Gulf attract some top sailors, and over the years national, regional and world champions, as well as Olympic sailors, have come here to compete. The largest fleet on the course was the single-handed monohull dinghy class, comprising laser standard, radial and 4.7s, together with some C2 bites. Apiwat Sriham and Chusit Ponjamala were trading places throughout in the laser 4.7 division, taking it down to the wire. And although Chusit finished 1 place ahead of Apiwat in the final race, it wasn't enough. Apiwat secured the laser 4.7 title by a single point. 2016 Thai Olympic hopeful Kamon Chanyam had a tough battle in the laser radial division, and despite an OCS in race 4, kept her nerve to sail well and win 4 from 8, taking the divisional title ahead of American Sophia Marie Maskia. After taking a brief hiatus from sailing following the London 2012 Olympics, Thai star Kirati Boorlong was back to defend his laser standard title. And despite a strong lineup, Kirati's 7 from 8 made him the clear winner of the divisional title and also the overall single-handed monohull dinghy class title. Elsewhere on course 2, a fleet of 420s and 470s were competing in the double-handed monohull dinghy class. In the 470 division, the Thai team of Navi Tamsuntorn and Nut Batmarathri were back to defend their title. They were pushed hard all the way by a team from Malaysia, but it was the Thai team's consistency, despite a disqualification from race 2, that saw them come out on top in the end. In the 420 division, all eyes were on the 2010 World Optimist champion Nopagao Punpat and sailing partner Panida Suksompon. An indifferent start to the series and a 5th in the final race saw them finish a disappointing 5th overall. 2nd to 5th places, however, were separated by just 2 points, but it was a Thai pairing of Sitisat Ponpun and Pirapol Wisaka that schooled the rest to finish with a 14-point winning margin and comfortably take the divisional title and overall double-handed monohull dinghy class crown. A small fleet of beach catamarans competed in 2 classes this year, Formula 18 and Open Beach Multihull. In the Open Beach Multihull class, it was perennial winner Damron Sak Vongtim and crew Sakda Vongtim, who again ran away with the title, winning 8 from 8. In training for the 2016 Olympics, where he will represent Thailand in the mixed multihull event, Damron Sak remains a top Hobie sailor in Asia and the one to beat. Strong winds on day 2 saw some exciting racing and a number of breakages in the Formula 18 class, resulting in a depleted fleet making it through to the final day. Despite this, the competition was fierce, and it was Pom Green and Apple sailing the new Olympic NACRA 17 that sailed best to win the class. Back on course 3, and a mixed fleet of local and international boats made up the IRC Racing 2, including local favourites and top contenders, the Royal Thai Navy 1, skippered by Wiwat Punpat. With 2 Thai crewed entries in the class, all eyes were on them to deliver the goods on their home turf, and Royal Thai Navy 1 followed the script, winning the first race of the series and placing second in the second, leaving them tied at the top with Australian entry Ichiban at the end of day 1. Elsewhere in the fleet, a battle was developing between Sway 1, Dynamite and Magic for third. A DNF for Dynamite and DNC for Magic in race 4, however, did neither any favours, and they dropped down the standings. Meanwhile, the all-Thai crew on Levant was getting the better of the new Tartan 4000 Dream, which in their first competitive outing was still ironing out some of the wrinkles. Back at the top, it was the Australian crew on Ichiban, skippered by Matt Allen, who was carving out a lead with a string of first places over Royal Thai Navy 1. And with just 1 race scheduled for the last day, Ichiban had already sealed the title. However, they went on to finish in style with yet another race win and take the class crown. Royal Thai Navy 1 placed second overall, and Sway 1 won the battle for third. Having placed second in IRC Racing 3 last year, the team from Singapore Management University, led by Pikwan Ching, had charted hijinks and were back and hoping to go one better. The lineup was tough though, with an experienced Japanese team on Thai 2, a Thai crew on San Sanuk, led by Swede Lennart Folgren, Orion from Germany, Constanza from Sweden, as well as first-timers to the regatta Sansiri Ulala, sailed by another all-Thai crew. Despite a slow start to the series with a 5th place in race 1, the crew on Sansiri Ulala started to post a string of 2nd and 3rd places and had an eye on the podium. Pushing them hard were the Japanese team, whose 5th in race 2 and 6th in race 3 cost them dearly in the final standings. The racing was close throughout the class, with all boats scoring at least one podium over the series, and by mid-series, hijinks were unbeaten and had a commanding lead. The remaining podium places, however, were still wide open, and 2 more second places on the penultimate day were enough for Sansiri Ulala to have a podium place all but sewn up going into the final race on the last day. A second in the final race wasn't quite enough to put Sansanuk on the podium, missing out by a single point, and they had to settle for 4th. Third went to Tai Tu from Japan, and despite a 4th in the final race, Sansiri Ulala held on to 2nd overall in their first top of the Gulf Regatta. The Singapore Management University team, however, were the runaway winners, finishing undefeated over 7 races and improving on their second last year with the class title this time around. Incorporated in the top of the Gulf Regatta is the Thailand National Optimists Championships, which this year was sponsored by leading Thai property developer Sansiri.
It is very important for Sansiri to be involved with children in terms of education, health and sports. And with sports itself, this is exactly where we want to be, because children are everyone's business, and this is what we are hoping to achieve by getting children involved in sports, so that the health will be very, very good, so that they can maintain good health. At the same time, it's very educational, because when they're out there by themselves, it teaches them how to think on their feet at that moment, and which is they have to take that approach in life.
Running for 38 years, the National Championships is the second oldest annual sailing event in Thailand and provides a competitive platform for young Thai sailors. Through sailing, the youngsters develop confidence and life skills that stand them in good stead in the future. Attracting a fleet of 129 young sailors, this year's National Championships included over 100 Thai juniors racing against youngsters from Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia and Myanmar. 3 days of mixed conditions on Course 1 proved to be a challenge for all the young sailors taking part. There was close competition early on between Thailand and Malaysia, and at the start of the second day it was Thai sailor Pongsapat Punyam leading the standings. With 2 more days to go, however, anything could still happen.
We believe that if you have the right support, you can achieve it, and it's not a sport for just foreigners. The Thais are very capable.
At the end of day 2, things had changed, and after a good run of results, Sutorn Yampanid had the title within his sights. If Sutorn could carry his form going into the final day, the national championship title was his. However, that was not to be, and a 9th place in the penultimate race opened the door for Pongsupat, who could discard the penultimate race score, leaving him in the driving seat with just 1 race to go. Needing a strong finish and a place ahead of his nearest rivals, the 14-year-old didn't put a foot wrong. Pongsapat sailed a championship-winning race, finishing first, and was crowned the 2013 Thailand Optimist National Champion.
You don't dream, you don't achieve. You can't achieve your dream if you don't dream it.
Ocean Marina is home to the largest fleet of one-design plateaus in Asia. The brainchild of Thai sailing stalwart Virot Nualker, the plateau was designed for sailing in Thai and Asian conditions and has grown to become a popular sports boat around the world. At the top of the Gulf Regatta, the plateaus race for the prestigious Plateau Coronation Cup. Established in 1996, the first One Design Coronation Cup coincided with the anniversary of His Majesty the King of Thailand's coronation date, and from there on the One Design Coronation Cup was born. A record 16 plateaus lined up for the 2013 Top of the Gulf Regatta, including international crews from Australia, Hong Kong, Japan and beyond, as well as 3 crews from Singapore Management University. Hoping to repeat their success were last year's winners and pre-regatta favourites Easy Tiger Racing, who were looking to defend their title on their new-built Easy Tiger 4. The 10-race series got underway with some impressive sailing by newcomer Australian Gary McNally's Black Betty, who scored 2 quick bullets on the opening day. Chris Way's Easy Tiger 4, however, didn't fare so well, finishing 8th and 5th, leaving them mid-table with a lot of work to do. By the end of day 2, 3 boats were starting to make a breakaway, and it was another Australian entry, Brian McMaster's Problem Child, that was setting the pace. A packed day of racing action saw McMaster win all 3 races and become the new leader, while Black Betty held on to second ahead of the Hong Kong crew on Tigranna. The fleet of plateaus are homed at Ocean Marina, one of the largest marinas in Southeast Asia. As well as being main sponsor and hosts of the Top of the Gulf Regatta since the beginning, Ocean Marina supports many other sailing events and has been instrumental in the growth of yachting in the region.
The Top of the Gulf Regatta is one of the only regattas in the Asian region where it's based out of a marina, so people can tie their boat up and feel comfortable overnight. Ocean Marina sponsors, hosts and supports yachting events right throughout the year. We host the regular monthly racing series, which is held the second weekend of every month. We also host the Plateau Championships throughout the year. So you've got the Plateau Nationals, the Plateau Cup and so forth. So there are 4 plateau events that Ocean Marina hosts, and we're proud to support yachting.
Top of the Gulf is the only marina-based regatta in Thailand, and this is one of the big attractions for the growing fleet of international boats who journey to the regatta each year. The marina setting is backed up with a great onshore regatta social scene, where sailors gather on the lawn to trade stories. National, regional and world champions, together with Olympians, mix with eager amateurs from 7 to 70 years old, and this is diversity that sets the regatta apart from any other. Back on the water, and the plateaus were at the series halfway point, and with just 2 days to go and 5 more races, day 3 was going to be a make or break for some. Such is the camaraderie at the Top of the Gulf that following a dismasting for one plateau on day 2, people came together to find a replacement mast, allowing them back on the course and competing the next day. Day 3 saw some reordering of the pack. After a run of disappointing results early on, Team Viewpoint, skippered by plateau regular Rolf Hemskirk, were getting to grips with their new plateau and placed second in the first race of the day. Further down the order, the all-Japanese crew on Puma sailed well in the day's second race to finish second, and Easy Tiger 4 put it all together in the final race to take the win. At the top, it was Problem Child who had the worst of it, missing the podium in all 3 races. 2 more firsts for Black Betty, however, kept them in the lead leading into the final day. Problem Child needed 2 wins and a poor performance by Black Betty to snatch away the title on the final day. A win by over 2 minutes in the first race was a great start. However, Black Betty secured a second place, and with it, they were unbeatable with just 1 race to go. A 6th place in the final race was Black Betty's discard, which meant they took the class honours by 3 points from Problem Child, who battled through to the end. After a mixed bag of results with just a few flashes of last year's brilliance, Chris Way and his crew on Easy Tiger 4 had to settle for 4th this year, behind Tigranna. Bringing together over 200 boats and 600 sailors in 11 diverse classes is no easy feat. And the organisers of the 2013 Top of the Gulf Regatta made it look effortless. The 9th Top of the Gulf Regatta will be remembered for good winds and exciting sailing. A fitting finale was the gala dinner hosted by Ocean Marina Yacht Club, where the overall series winners were presented in front of 500 plus sailors and friends. Heading into its 10th year next year, the organisers of the 2014 Top of the Gulf Regatta are looking to build on the past 9 years of success and deliver a regatta bigger and even better than before. Keep an eye on their website for announcements.